As Joe Biden releases his first ad, his wife tries to help.
Your candidate might be better on, I don't know, health care than Joe is. But you've got to look at who's going to win this election. And maybe you have to swallow a little bit and say, okay, I sort of personally like so-and-so better. But your bottom line has to be that we have to beat Trump.
Ugh. Swallow a little bit. Talk about a ringing endorsement. Please vote for my husband. He's really not that bad. But I get it. It's hard to nail Trump when everybody's got a job, the U.S. economy's humming along, and peace is breaking out all over. So what's left? The psychological and the hypothetical. First, the psychological from Joe's ad.
Most of all, he'll restore the soul of the nation, battered by an erratic, vicious, bullying president.
That's great. Because things are going well, this attack's now about an emotional feeling toward a president. It's funny. Could you imagine any other country saying, please get rid of our leader because he's a big meanie? Or a coach saying, Joe's taken us to the championship, but he's a jerk, so cut him. If this were a good idea, every brilliant MD would be out of work. The Dems cannot separate Trump's personality from how well he runs the country. They conflate words with deeds, the real world with the Trump show. It saves them from having to come up with anything better, which they lack. Then there's a hypothetical. There is no big war, but what if Trump gets us in one? There is no proof of collusion, but what if there was? There is no recession yet, but what if there was one? Maybe the media can talk one into existence. It's been all hypotheticals for 3 years. At any moment, unstable Trump could lead us somewhere really bad, as he actually leads us to someplace good. But as you scan their choices for president, you got to feel bad for the Dems. They're playing pin the tail on the donkey in a room full of asses.
That'll hurt.
Yeah, it certainly does. I don't even know what it means.
You never played that?
What?
Pin the tail on a donkey?
Yes, I did, but I don't understand the joke I made, is what I'm saying. Okay. They're targeting feelings.
Yeah, but that's what elections are about.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you feel about somebody. And I imagine that they chose the words erratic, vicious, and bullying because they were poll tested and focus group to death, and that these are the things, especially women, are saying that these are the things we can't take. And so the thing about the electability argument that his wife was using is that doesn't usually motivate primary voters.
Right.
It might motivate you in a general election if you're like, well, it's like one or the other. But a primary is like you want your person, you're really going to go out there and support them. And she's basically saying he's the most electable, so vote for him. And he in his ad then is having something different. He's like, this is a character contrast that he's trying to push out. The other thing that's happening is that he's the most electable now until the Warren and Sanders one of them has to go.
Right.
And when that coalesces, then they will also be able to make the electability argument.
Yes, because then they'll be around. That person will like mold into like a two-headed socialist monster, and they'll have 30%, Jesse. So they could actually go in front of Biden and get the plurality.
I don't even think if you add those two up, it gets to 30. I think it's like in the mid-20s.
I think it's like 35.
I think I'd be surprised if it was that high.
Well, you're going to be surprised.
I think there's more moderates than there actually are crazy left-wing socialist radicals in the party. I agree with Dan. I think electability and experience are overrated in politics. Hillary was the most experienced, and she lost. Barack Obama was the least experienced, and he won. And remember, Donald Trump was completely unelectable, and he won. So you can throw that out the window. Right now, the American public believes someone that's experienced in Washington, D.C. just seems like an insider that's been there their whole life. Or someone that's electable, like Joe, is just someone that the pundits predict is electable, and the pundits are always wrong, except me, of course. Biden's big strengths are his association with Barack Obama, and two, he's clinging desperately to that moderate lane by his fingernails. But he's been piling up so many gaffes, and he's having a lot of trouble with these small donors, and they're trying to cut back his schedule because he's too sleepy, and he's just not inspiring. And he doesn't draw any crowds. Liz Warren had about 12,000 the other day. Biden, I think, hasn't cracked 1,000 from the last couple months that I've seen. So he's also promised to give health insurance to illegal aliens, eliminate coal and natural gas, and raise taxes for the middle class. Really, really body blows if you look at a general election. But something he's going to have to deal with this winter. When Spygate is finally exposed, Williams, he's going to have to answer, what did he know and when did he know it? If he knew anything at all, and then if he didn't know anything at all, where was he?
Yeah, Williams.
Yeah, really. I must say, electability is the #1 issue for Democrats. I don't think there's any question. CNN has a poll out today, and they have close to 60% of Democrats saying, we want someone who is proven in their ability to win against Donald Trump. And I think Trump is mad. He's mad at Fox and Fox polling because we have in our
Not mad at me, though, Juan.
No, that's true. No, not you and not
You're his
Jesse.
new favorite, right?
He's mad at me. Okay. So, but in Fox polling, we have 4 people beating him. But the key for Democrats, forget everybody else, just Democrats, is can you beat Trump? And this is interesting to me. What interesting is he's actually up right now in the polls. Before he ran this ad, he has increased in the CNN poll by 7 points. He's now back up to 29%. You get Sanders and Warren at, I think it's like 15 and 14, so it's about 30%, Jesse, of that. But the key for me is looking inside the numbers. And when you look inside the numbers, what do you see? It's moderates, it's older Democrats, some of the young folks, but really strong number of conservative to moderate Democrats who are backing Biden. They see him as the alternative to Trump. In other words, Trump is the bully. Here's a guy who we can see as a nice guy, Joe from Scranton, who you can trust and who they think, if this is going to be a referendum on Trump, he allows it to be a referendum on Trump because Joe is not objectionable.
Can I mention one thing because you showed that poll? I think also, look, Kamala Harris had that bump and then a complete collapse back down to 5%.
And the other good news in that poll is for Julian Castro, who's now made the debate stage. He's up to 2%. And by the way,
Up to 2.
You should know, guys, he has put forward a animal welfare plan.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, and he's
Watching the 5.
Federal plan, more laws.
Katie, I find it interesting that, this is a party that is, it's 2020, 100 years after women getting the right to vote, and they're going to coalesce behind a white male born in the 1940s.
Unbelievable.
I know. That was when the war took place, Dana.
That is when
The
the
big
war
one.
took place. You said electability is important to Democrats. That's true, but it's always miscalculated. Mitt Romney is also another example of someone who beat Barack Obama. That's why everyone had to go into the moderate lane. Joe Biden is not a nice guy. This is a myth that he's this nice player on the field. He's actually pretty brutal when it comes to things that he says on the campaign trail. But if you can't get an endorsement from your wife or at least some enthusiastic support, and she has to say his health care plan, which is the #1 issue among all voters, might not be as good as anyone else in the field, but you should vote for him anyway.
Yeah.
They have to talk about why his policies are better for Democrats and the country. And if they're not going to talk about it, Elizabeth Warren is going to talk about it. And she's the one who's rising in the polls faster than anyone else.
Yeah, my prediction is it's Liz now. I've changed.
Yeah, same.
I thought it was Kamala.
Yeah, but I think Liz has got that energy. She's waving her arms around and dancing
But you
awkwardly.
reserve the right to change your
Oh,
prediction.
I will change
in a
my
month.
mind at least 4 or 5 times before this evening is out.
Okay.
What about you? You got plans?
I know you're going to go see a Quentin Tarantino movie later.
I am.
No, I think I don't see how Biden gets it. I think Warren right now has a lot of momentum.
I think if the thing about having the wife do it, you want surrogates who can inspire you, can uplift you, and there's a little bit of desperation. Oh, my wife. I mean, gosh, if your wife didn't endorse you, you'd be trouble.
I mean, they can play a pretty decent and important role on the campaign trail, but when your first statement out of the gate is he might not be as good as the rest of you. It's like Joe Biden when he's on stage
But that's
and he
not
goes,
what he's
"Oh,
saying."
I'm done
But
with my time."
it's that thing that
what he's
Dana always
saying.
says: look for the dog that isn't barking. And
Yeah.
she's talking. Obama isn't.
But he's
Oh,
not
no.
going
He's
to
not gonna-
until
that's not
the
fair.
convention.
Oh, that's such conventional opinions.
So you have the right to change your mind.